So the next thing, if you want to make it big in 2021, you've got to measure what matters. This is part 3 in a 10-part series helping you reconstruct your New Year's resolutions so you can make it big in 2021. For more, just go to makeitbig2021.com, and I'm running an event in January as well via Zoom if you want me to guide you through the process of making it big in 2021. So what do I mean by measure what matters? Well, there's 6 key metrics that I highly encourage that you start measuring religiously. Some are going to be weekly and some are going to be quarterly metrics. So the metrics are laps, revenue per employee, and time per profit. Now let me explain what I mean by each of those. So we talk a lot about laps. Laps stands for leads, appointments, presentations, and sales. It's essentially your sales funnel. You'll generate a lead, which means someone will join your database, name, email, phone number, location. I like making sure that the way I'm collecting a lead gets people to what I call Nepal. Nepal, name, email, phone number, and location. If you're not offering something of substantial enough value to get people to happily provide that much information, I would go back to thinking about how you could offer something of more value that would make someone more willing to part with more information to receive that thing. And again, as part of this series, I'm going to be talking about ways to be able to increase the value, not just of your core business, but of some of your earlier stage products for prospects or lead magnets and things like that. So keep checking into the series. So that would be leads. Anything that's going to get sold of high value is going to require some kind of a presentation or conversation. And so there needs to be a mechanism for turning leads into appointments where someone says, yes, I would like to come and have that conversation with you or see that presentation. So that's the A, L, A, and then P is the actual presentation itself. So of course, now you're starting to see that we're measuring leads, appointments that get booked off those leads, and then the presentations to those appointments. And you're going to see that there's going to be a drop off at every stage until finally there's the sale itself. When it comes to laps, if you want to make more money, if you want to outperform your competition, just do more laps, more leads, more appointments, more presentations, and more sales. And of course, what gets measured gets improved. We measure our laps every single day, let alone every single week. But we look for averages and trends over time so we can look to optimize. A few little tweaks here and there can have a huge impact downstream. That's laps, and that kind of really helps with the sales and the marketing. When it comes to revenue per employee, that's all about efficiency. One of the things that we've come to learn is that the entrepreneur journey is very predictable. The vast majority of businesses are stuck less than $500,000 revenue, not making any profit, because it is essentially a time-based business. The antidote to time is assets. That's a video unto itself, and I'll get to that in a new New Year's resolution video soon. But essentially, an asset is anything that you can develop in your business that makes you or your team more efficient or more effective. So yes, you can think of systems and processes, but you could also think about things like books, blogs, articles, videos, webinars, online programs or courses, internal assets like frequently asked questions lists for your clients or databases that they can search, or internal team training mechanisms. All of these tools mean that more can happen in less time. Now, if you think about it, if more can happen, which means productivity, revenue, and ultimately profitability can happen in less time, well then a great metric to measure how effective you are at leveraging assets as opposed to leveraging just people and time is revenue per full-time employee. Because the idea is the more revenue that you can create based on the amount of people producing it, the more efficient each of those people become. This starts training a mindset around asset creation and developing the things that are going to make you and your team more efficient and more effective. I like to use the example of an arborist, someone chopping down these trees, right? if you were to upgrade them from a Swiss Army knife to an axe and then to a chainsaw, you're going to see the productivity or the revenue per employee of your entire company going up from those little shifts. And yeah, the answer is you include every single person on your team, from the salespeople to the marketing people to the operations to the virtual assistants. And if you've got a couple of part-time people, bundle them together as one full-time person. So what's your revenue per full-time employee, and what do you need to do to make that go up? Well, I'll be talking about that in future videos as well. And finally is profit per time, not just any time, but your time. The idea here is how can you have your profitability going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher without your time having to continue to increase to achieve that. Most people are caught in a paradox. If I want to make more money, if I want to be more successful, I need to work harder. But the problem is they're already working as hard as they can. And so that idea is just exhausting. And so often people just plateau. The key is when you start measuring your laps, when you start measuring your revenue employee, and you start having a mindset towards not just what do I need to do to grow my business, but what do I need to build to grow my business in a way that makes it successful without me? Well, that's when you'll find the most important metric, which is profit per founder's time, start to go north. Those are the 5 key metrics that I highly recommend you measure. Laps, measure daily and weekly. Revenue per employee, you'd measure quarterly. And profit per time, that is your time, you'd measure every year. What are some of the metrics that you're measuring, and what are some of the questions that you might have regarding those 5 key metrics? My name's Glenn Carlson. My goal is to be able to help you make it big in 2021. And so, if you'd like more tools and tricks, go to makeitbig2021.com. You can come along to the event that I'm hosting in January, where I'm going to guide you through the 5 key things that you need to focus on to kick the door off the hinges next year. But all you got to do is be brave, have fun. Let's go make a dent in the universe.